Oh, shit. You guys do that?
Well, I mean, it's a podcast, so we don't really have to worry about the V-chip, because now, when we started this new season, everything's been rated as explicit. So I don't worry about bleeping anything out unless I want to when somebody wants to talk shit.
Well, that was the last episode.
You're like, fuck you, get that out of here. And I was like, ah, shit.
I was like, fuck you, take that out in post.
And I did.
And he did.
Well, hey guys, what's going on here? River Sullivan coming at you right here, right now. Pre-recorded for your live listening pleasure yet again. Where's that time to sit back, relax, crack open a cold one for another episode of This Evening Tonight. And with me here, as always for the definite foreseeable future, the man, the myth, the legend, that Zen Buddhist monk of administrative wisdom and fishing patience, Dave.
Hello, everybody.
And also, you like that?
Yeah,
You like that? I don't know why I keep asking that every fucking week.
Don't make it weird.
Did you like that?
You're making it weird.
I'll make it as weird, don't tell
He always makes it weird. We can't just have an intro.
It's the name of the game. And also here with us, guys, this week is another one of our extended families of brothers from other mothers, and that is that extended family of military members. My man, Catfish Craig. What's going on, Craig?
What's going on,
I like
man?
how you cracked open that cold one right there in time.
I cracked 3 of them open
At
before
the
we
same
started.
time with your Buddha.
I wish I had it recording before that because you were doing the major pain thing, like just jabbed him open with like 2 fingers, man. It was incredible.
Yeah, most people
Some
don't,
Dalton stuff from like
that.
Roadhouse, just ripping throats. You know?
Yeah.
That's how I shotgun beers. I just grab them and squeeze them real tight, and then they just explode.
I just look at them till they open up. It's an Air Force trick, really. You just look at it and they go, "Oh, he's Air Force. Would you like me to open that for you?" And I'm like, "Yes, could you open it? I don't have the upper body strength."
It was a twisty top. I know.
I know. My hands were wet. It was moist and slippery. So, yeah, welcome to the show, Craig. Me and Craig had just kind of met here this afternoon. He was helping supervise me on a project. I was going and doing more things to Casa de Sully. Like the newest one was installing a water line for my ice machine. And Craig was like, I'm a little fucked up. Like, he's got some medical issues. But he was like, I will walk you through it. So he was like my Padawan, or he was like my Jedi Master, and I was his Padawan. And he just like told me how to do everything from start to finish, and I am still sweating from all of this. How are you feeling though? Like you look refreshed still because you got to get a shower.
Yeah, I feel great. You know what I mean? There was no leaks. Everything went as planned. I'm very happy with it.
The incredible thing was our water line that goes to the sink where we're hooking it up to. There's no water shutoff. There's no main shutoff in this beautiful house because it was designed by was it Lord Vigo? Like he just Vigo of Carpathia, something like that. Like
the Scourge of Moldova.
The Scourge of Moldova, yeah. Like Lord Vigo, you like the buzzing of flies to Lord Vigo. Like they built the house, put it on there. It was like, sir, we should install water shutoffs. No water shutoffs for this home. And then he just snapped their necks, and their bones are probably buried under the footer of this house. It's probably why it's 2.5 feet of concrete. But anyway, so we had to run the pipe, or the pipe was already in there inside the cabinetry, and we installed that, what is it called? The piercing valve?
Yes.
Piercing valve with a saddle, and you have to like bolt it in there and then screw it down to where it punctures the line. You got towels up and everything. I'm ready for this to be like the sinking of the ship on like U-571. We got hit with depth charges, there's splashes, the Nazis have found us, and we're sinking, we're taking on water. I was expecting for me and Craig to be yelling at each other, just, like, hoist up the thing, like, back down the what's-it, just to get the water shut off. But it was incredible. Like, you've seen it. It was a Jesus Christ Christmas miracle where I bolted both things down, and then we turned like a toggle there? What do you call that middle piece?
The valve.
The valve. Turn the valve. Very... very engineering-like term. I'm very smart. Big brain time.
River, are you just scared to say knob?
I mean, you could call it that if you felt like it, but I call it a valve.
I cranked on the valve knob and
Nice, that
turned
works.
it clockwise thusly. Unless we're in Australia, I believe we have to turn it the opposite way.
And then you turned it the opposite way.
Yeah, but it tightened down, and then you hear water came through. Not a drop was spilled.
amazing.
It was incredible. These are the things I get excited about now as a 36-year-old man.
Right.
Sadness.
This is what we've been reduced to.
I mean, this is what homeowners like, though. You know.
Oh, yeah, no, it's, before you got here, I woke up today. As you can see, the lawn is finely groomed because I just cut all of it and edged it and trimmed it and everything. As soon as I got done with that, you called me. I was like, oh, gotta go run to the bank real quick. Ran back from the bank. You showed up. We started doing all this. As soon as we got done, you grabbed a shower. Dave shows up and I'm like, oh shit, we gotta get everything packed up and fucking loaded. And everything's loaded. I'm still sweating. I still have grass clippings on me. My balls are in a whole other universe, and I wish that I had a new Duke Cannon dry ice product to sponsor for us today, but I am all out. My new order was supposed to be in today for some of the dry ice body powder, but unfortunately, 'twas not. There was some deodorant that came in today, but I'm not rubbing that on the upside down weather balloon.
No, because then your deodorant just smells like balls.
Salty and succulent, as I tell the lady.
Okay.
Let that sink in. It's like I ever tell you when she made shrimp for us, and I'd come home from work, and she's like, I made us like cook this up shrimp with cocktail sauce. And I go in there, and she went to the bathroom, so I lay down on the bed, took my shirt off, lay down on the bed, and put a little bit of cocktail sauce on my belly button, and shoved a shrimp in there. She got at him, got my hands behind my back, lounging like, well, hello. She's looking at me like, what are you doing? You got home from work, you're all sweaty. I said, so what I'm hearing is, it's salty and succulent. She's just like, what? And I just went, all right, fine. Bloop, bloop.
Fine, I'll eat
I
it.
threw it in my mouth. I ate it. I know where my body's been. But speaking of where bodies have been, Craig, where have you been? Tell me a little bit about yourself here and your background. Whatever it is you want to say.
Born and raised Morgantown, West Virginia. Joined the Army. First I was infantry. Decided I wanted to be an engineer. Went to engineering. First MOS plumbing pipe fitter. Then I was just kind of like a construction supervisor. 13 years total. Went to work at the prison.
What prison did you work at?
Oh, Hazleton.
Oh, Hazelton. That's that federal penitentiary, isn't it?
Right.
I hear some crazy things about that place.
Yeah, it was different.
That was I know that was a place that Whitey Bulger got killed at.
Whitey fucking Bulger. Yeah.
I'm told he's the biggest snitch in the West right there, like at least in the
Right.
feds.
I imagine that if Jimmy Hoffa was around, he'd have had problems with that guy. You know what I mean?
Was Whitey ran? He was Boston, wasn't it?
Boy,
I'm pretty sure that the Departed movie with Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon.
I'm told, yeah, that was based off him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think loosely. Like, obviously,
Like the movie he did get was Black Mass. I know that was James Spader, the guy from Blacklist, played Whitey.
they can make Whitey Bulger movies all day long and try and make him out to be something great to even watch, but in reality, he was a piece of crap.
yeah, most of them are.
Yeah.
He was a snitch. He wasn't much of a man. You know what I mean?
So you served U.S. Army?
Yes. 13 years total.
13 years. What battalion, I believe, is the proper nomenclature?
I was in the 115th Engineering.
Okay. Yeah, we had talked earlier. My brother, the third Sullivan brother, he served 459th Engineering Corps, and he was in Iraq, part of the initial surge as well. He was tipped the spear with infantry, which that's a funny thing that I didn't know, or should I say that he didn't know when he went over there, because he was trained as a bridge builder. He was like, no, we're here to build schools and bridges and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They're like, here's your rifle, son. He's like,
yeah, you ain't
Do-
doing what you think you're doing
do
when
what
you
now?
get there.
I'm sorry? And they're like, yeah, you're going to be frontline assault because everybody in the Army's infantry when it comes down to it. And I'm like, okay. Like,
Yes and no. Like I said, we're all trained riflemen, but when it comes to like small team tactics
Yeah.
and things like that,
there's definitely the specialization differences. But he did tell me they didn't have uniforms for his unit. So they didn't get the chocolate chips or the old school desert camis.
That's crazy.
So they got to go over there and BDUs.
the chocolate chips were phased out. When I went over in 03 in the Spearhead, we just had it was like yellowish tan splotchy
Yeah.
DCU uniforms.
DCU, that was what I was looking for. But they didn't have any of those for his unit.
They didn't have plates for my vest, so I got to
Are you serious?
Yeah, I got to go through.
So you had a stab vest. That's what you had. You had a Hazelton vest.
Yeah, I was essentially I was like the red shirt that nobody knew the name. I was just like, send that guy out there.
Oh yeah.
Send out Specialist Dave.
Operation Human Shield.
Yeah, hold this GPS out there and just scan. Like it's a GPS. You can't scan. Just look like you're scanning with it, but make the noise. What noise? But no, they made him go over there with BDU, and they went over there with the BDUs, and they said the Iraqis were terrified of them because they thought they were all some kind of special ops because they'd never seen the green uniforms before. They were like, no, they all come over here. They wear the brown. And they were not wearing the brown. They had little pieces of brown in there, but it was green and black and other like a lighter green. Yeah. And they were just. He said that they would see him in his unit that was like, well, we were trying to bridge this little river, and they were like coming up to. They saw him moving on the perimeter or wherever they were at. It was like they were getting ready to attack us, and then they like stopped and they all ran off. This like Iraqi National Army at the time just took off because they all stood up and like looked at him. And they were like, green uniform, I don't know what it is. Like, and they just gone.
Those trees are moving. That was stupid. You can take that out.
No, I like it. Don't get me wrong, like the BDU, I loved. It was my favorite uniform.
Oh yeah.
Before I went into the ABUs, the ABUs was good for if you're in an office space. You can blend in with. I blended in very well with the drywall. Yep. But that BDU, when you did it right, when I was at Camp Bullis, an Army outpost in Texas, and you did the camo pattern right, and a lot of people don't know it was you did the camo face paint. They do that the Rambo claw across the face. No, it's like the what is it? The most extensive parts of your body
are the darkest.
Are the darkest, like your nose and your chin, like your cheekbones.
Low
and your chin.
on the bone and green in between.
Yeah, there you go.
You
and
lighten
a splotch of brown for color. Chef's kiss.
You lighten deep areas of your face and darken more visible parts of your face. I was a big fan of the BDU. I never had to wear any of the digital camo. I got out when they were instituting.
Oh, they were like pajamas. You missed out.
Oh, wash and wear, baby.
Well, I was I was really big into the discipline of being a soldier in garrison. So press uniform,
spit shine boots,
mirror shine boots.
I started out that way.
I had the Corcoran boots with the kiwi. You put a little of that kiwi. You put the kiwi on first. Then you dip your cotton in some water, or separate cotton ball in water. You buff over that. Do a little bit more kiwi, a little bit more water.
Yep.
And then brush it a little bit, and then just like you can see your reflection out of that thing.
Yeah, they look like patent leather boots.
Then I discovered the lazy man's shine known as leather luster.
Oh, that stuff's terrible for
it was terrible. Like the Corcorans had that. There's little pits in the top of the toe, like it looked very ornate. When you paint over it, it just starts flaking off like shitty house paint. Like,
you don't use that, man. Or that high gloss sponge with the oil on it.
Oh yeah.
Well, the
you're trying to go up for inspection. You know what I mean?
The ACU digital camouflage uniforms, we weren't authorized to iron them, starch them, or anything. It was like, well, that takes.
You ever do they ever make you do the hot canteen in basic?
The what?
The hot canteen. Because they wanted us to iron our uniforms, our drill instructors, but they were like, you can purchase an iron at the commissary, the BX, the base exchange. For you guys, it's post exchange, but for us, it was BX. And they were like, we were authorized to buy an iron, but our instructors were like, that is one more inspectable item. You will not purchase that. If you iron your uniforms, you had to go to like this hot water thing, like this one sink that had especially hot water. You fill your canteen up with that. You could barely hold it. You were using like those shitty leather gloves they'd give you, and then you could just run it over your uniform to semi-iron it.
If I remember correctly, when I was in basic, there was a very specific way that you fold the uniform to where
6-inch squares was the way we used to do.
It seems when you unfold it, it appears that it has been pressed. We didn't have irons, no starch or anything like that.
I sewed a seam in my honor guard uniform just so that it had a permanent crease forever.
That's a good idea.
I sewed it.
But if I had a needle...
Perfectly straight.
Hand sewn.
Hand sewn.
My hands were never that steady. I've sewn on name tapes and stuff like that, and like squadron patches, and my actual, like I had a badge because I was security forces at the time. I was military police. So I actually had like our police badge, in quotes, was right there on the left breast pocket, I believe. And that you'd have to sew that in. It was a little rectangle. It was nice and easy. But
when you're going in front of the old guard, honor guard instructors, and you're going to be standing in a room where they crank the heat up to 110 and get in front of your face with a squeaky duck, you got to have one of those uniforms that are just so pressed that they're going to be so stunned by that.
Oh,
That they're
dude.
not going to be looking so close to all your details, but they still did. I mean, they found 3 on me, and I had to go fix one. And
You know, real quick, Craig, I don't know if you can tell that this show's very organic and very unscripted. I had no idea that we were going to go into the talk that we are, and I'm loving this. I want to call this episode like Back to Basics,
Oh, I've got some.
like
Oh,
reminiscing
nice.
about boot stories.
yeah,
But you're talking about that ironing, man. The starch.
yes,
Niagara was my shot. Niagara starch.
I
if
love
you
that
want,
Niagara
just
starch,
the
man.
regular, not the one with lemon. The lemon was nice,
no,
but that
no,
old school Niagara.
No, you got to go with that.
I had like my secret recipe though, because you had Niagara was a big one. They had Stay Flow. Stay Flow was
Flow.
that super concentrated shit.
I don't think
You'd have
I've
to
ever
pour
seen
like
that.
it was concentrated starch, and you used to have to pour like a 1980s Alec Baldwin like cocaine rail of starch.
So a lot.
No, just a turbo rail, if you will. But then I'd take it, and you have to sit there and hand rub it in. Like, you'd lay it out perfect. I'd do a quick steam iron to get that basic flat laid out and be like, all right, that's where the crease is going to be. So I'd lay that out either with a Stay Flow or do like just a heavy spray of like an inch wide of Niagara. Let that soak. Just enjoy the smell for a minute. And then I'd lay a towel across the sleeve, like over it. And I'd throw that iron on there and leave it simmer on like medium heat with a steam. And just pick it up, put it down, let it sit. And then you knew it was good when you'd peel that towel back and you get that little, like that stir in the macaroni in the pot. But it wasn't leaving any terry cloth fibers behind. By
Yeah,
the
no,
time-
there's little white, flakiness.
Yeah, no little white fibers behind, enough for it just to pull straight away.
Now that's good starch.
And I'll never forget, like, going to guard mount for us was like every day I went to work there at Malmstrom was you're going to guard mount. You had to look shit hot, like, because we were security forces, military police they want you looking good. They want you looking presentable. Like, everybody's going to be working the main gate, and the man is coming to see you. In every car is the man, your installation commander. So you had to look fucking badass. And I loved it we had creases so sharp, you say, like, they were like blades. Like, you'd be able to swing your arm, cut through the air with it. Here, just sit there and just cut a steak with it. Like, we used to put starch on the patches.
I think that means you've used too much starch.
That's the I'm serious. Like, the pants for that to where you get so much starch on it, like when
It's like you
put
start
'em on,
moving and it sounds like you're breaking down cardboard.
Yeah, like you'd hear that
Like-
one,
Yeah.
that one,
Yeah.
like a snap. You're like, sorry, that's just my elbow. But like we get it down the creases of the pant, where you put the
Yeah.
pants on, you feel the pants peeling apart.
Yep.
We used to cook I'll never forget, on like my badge, because I had my badge, my identifier, and then the like your name tapes and everything. You put so much starch on that and do the towel trick, they'd have a shine to them. Like your badge looked like it was shiny, even though it was embroidered, like an embroidered badge. That's what we did.
Nice.
And then if you want to look really special without having to spit shine boots, so it was always, you ever heard chloroframs?
Yes, chloroform.
The chloroframe boots. Chloroframe boots they were just super shiny looking boots, like from the factory. That's how they stayed until you like looked at them wrong, and then they scuffed. You had to use Windex to like clean them off. So we used them as guard mount boots, and then once you got out of guard mount and went to post, you took them bitches off and put your shitties on, because you know you were gonna have to go walk around and play in the mud for a while.
I was dumb enough to wear those at Hazleton Prison the first time I went up there to work because I didn't have uniforms. They didn't have uniforms for me, yes, and they just threw me in a unit and it was just like sink or swim, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went up there and I wore those shoes,
Okay.
and they were all shiny and stuff, and inmates were like, "Oh my God, he's like a warden or something."
So I got some questions for you. I got some questions here for you. Okay, I've heard a lot of stories about Hazleton. Like I always see things in the local paper and read things in the local news. Like, so you're somebody that used to work there. What is it that you can tell me about that place? Like, I don't know whatever security levels there are right there or anything, but
Is it as romantic as all my friends tell me it is?
yeah, tell me.
Oh, if you're up there looking for romance, you can find it either with inmates or staff. But you're gonna go to jail if you do it with inmates. Let me just tell you, they're gonna catch you.
So that place is a maximum security, right?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. So for somebody that has never been in there, what is it like? For me, like, all I know from prison is what I've seen on TV, and like, you know, so I watch Prison Break, I've watched Oz, and I've watched a little bit of Orange Is the New Black. So how would you describe somebody looking at a place like that versus what the media shows?
Okay, let me tell you this from a military standpoint. In no way, shape, or form is Hazleton protected for its staff or the general public the way it should be. and the staff that work there are underpaid, and yes, it is dangerous.
Okay. Short, sweet, to the point. I like it. So,
What they need is to have a better security force on that mountain.
now when you say a security force, what do you mean?
More armed positions,
Oh, okay.
Like
So yeah, they're not
QRF.
armed inside, are they? Do they have guns?
not inside now.
Why not?
Because an inmate could grab one.
Oh yeah, and then use it on you.
I've heard that's the policy. The feds, that from what I've been able to find online, was always just like, hey, we're worried that somebody else is going to get us, so we don't give them that.
Yeah, so you gotta have your wits about you. You gotta be smart as well as tough to work at a place like that.
Mhm.
And I pray for people I used to work up there with all the time, man, because something bad could happen up there anytime, man. And
Yeah, I always see a lot of
totally
times-
outnumbered. You know what I mean? My
There's-
hat's off to everybody. You can still go up there and keep them, in line and stop bad things from happening. Because if they get out of there, that's the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Nobody wants them back in society. That's why they're in there.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine for a place that's a maximum security, those guys probably aren't in there for singing too loud in church.
Right.
But yeah, like I know a lot of times I see there's an ambulance and you can see like a white government vehicle. Sometimes it's a van or it's like looks like a cop car, like an Impala or something always following them. I always imagine like it's probably a dude from a prison or something like going on there. Like they
Yeah, so
almost
there's a
every
lot.
day I'm on the interstate. Yeah, I always seem to pass one.
If you got a weak stomach, you don't need to work there because you're going to see things that you don't want to see and you never will see anywhere else. I mean,
I have talked to a couple other people that work there in passing, and like they don't really tell me too much. But one thing I did do some research on stuff like that because I was considering working up there since I was a veteran, and was like, oh, I wonder if I could fit in there. I wonder if I could do the job. And they say that prisons, I don't know if it's in general or federal prisons or maximum security prisons or what, have a 3 times higher post-traumatic stress rate than deployed individuals, even during the heydays of tip of the spear. Saying it's 3 times higher because from what I was able to read, there was a lot of people that kind of like attested to it that were saying that no matter what you do, you can see somebody get stabbed, get killed, get hurt, whatever. Some crazy shit goes on in those places. And 24 hours later, they're right back there in the same place. Like they don't get to leave there. Like if you're in country somewhere, like you're in Iraq or wherever, Afghanistan, and you do a mission behind the wire or whatever, and
you get some R&R time.
you get some R&R, like the mission's over, you get back to the fob, you get back to base, you get back to whatever home away from home you got. These guys go there, get to see some heinous things,
Come right back.
and have to be, hey, see you at work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like that's always played on me. Like I've just always been curious as to how I would handle something like that.
It's not for everybody. I could tell you that a couple people told me they're going to go up there and get a job, and I was like, well, man, they're going to push you in a broom closet and have their way with you, but go ahead. You know what I mean? If that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
They're you know what I mean? It's not for everybody. If you're weak-minded and they can get at you, just do everybody a favor and just don't go up there and work, because if you're going to be dirty and you're going to be bringing stuff in, you're just...
So right there, though, you're talking about dirty, right?
Yeah.
Everybody looks at the media and, like, I mean, we all know law enforcement is under fire right now. So that is my question to you is, are prison staff, federal workers from where you've worked at, are they that dirty? Are they as dirty as the media makes them out to be?
The majority of them is not, but the ones that have been caught, yes, they're extremely dirty, and they had no business being in there, and somehow we have to figure out a way to filter them out.
So, I mean, you're looking at a workforce. How many people work up there?
A lot. You could work up there for years and not even meet somebody you work with, but there's not enough.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
There's a lot, but there's not enough. And the one reason why I say it's not enough is because how much overtime is being paid every year by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, because they are undermanned and understaffed, and that's not safe for anybody.
Yeah.
There's not enough staff up there, and the inmates up there are out of control. I mean, I seen dude's brain matter leaking onto the floor out of his ears. You know, I mean, that clear fluid around your brain, I saw it. It came out of that guy's ears. And if it wasn't for me shoving that dude off of him, that boy from Alabama would have beat that dude to death because he said he was no good. That's all he told me. He was like, hey, man, I don't want to fight you. That dude's no good. I said, well, you're not going to hit him again.
So you're speaking of another incident, though, that happened there, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Because we just kind of bled into it there. I was like, what's happening? But So you've seen stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I seen clear fluid come out of a guy's ears. That ain't normal.
Yeah, imagine was it clear fluid comes out of your ears too, like it's in between that viscous layer of the brain, and then there's the inside the eardrum that governs your equilibrium.
Yeah.
There's like a little fluid thing. It's like the body's level. You know, like the bubble in a level. It's like we have something like that built into us that keeps us steady. That I know when people have that busted, that they have a hard time standing up. I had a friend that got that gouged out once, like it blew or something, and he couldn't walk right till he got surgery on it to like sew it up and topped off or whatever. But he just felt like he was falling all the time.
Your equilibrium's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude would have beat that guy to death if I didn't shut him off of him.
Yeah.
I did both of them a favor, really.
Yeah.
Did he need that extra charge on him? No. Did that guy need to die right there? No, because I was right there doing my job. You know what I mean? Like, well, you can't have like any kind of feelings about anything working there, because it makes you kind of cold, because you can't come in there with any type of feelings, man. Like, seriously, like I don't care what you did. It's my job to make sure that you don't get beat to death on my watch.
So there was a movie I'd seen years ago, and it's a comedy called Let's Go to Prison. But I remember the line that the guy said,
"Prepare to be wooed."
Wooed. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
In that movie, the guy at the very beginning, it was that Dax something or other, like
Dax Shepard.
Dax Shepard, yeah.
And Will Arnett are the stars.
Dax Shepard played, was it Lashitsky or something like that? He was a guy that was like always in the system, always in prison. And he always said that there was a feeling of being in prison, and he described it as, if you're ever driving and you see a cop behind you, and you get that feeling, you're like, you know, you didn't really do anything wrong, but you don't really know what's going to happen. Like, it's just like that feeling, but all the time. Would you equate that to what that is, being in a prison?
Kind of, yeah, but you never know what's gonna happen. Yeah, I mean, pretty much what you said. You don't want to turn your back to nobody in there.
Yeah.
And it's sad though, you know what I mean? You gotta watch. I mean, you got other staff working there, but you have to watch your back in there, man.
Yeah.
Period, because you don't know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be ready for whatever's going to happen. When you walk in there one day, you might not have anything happen. I'm not saying stuff happens every day, but when it does, you got to be ready to respond properly.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have any room for error in there, because it's people's lives on the line. It's your coworkers' lives on the line. It's the inmates' lives on the line in there. And it's the people on the outside's lives on the line, because if they get a hold of your keys and they figure out a way to get out, man, that's the last thing you want, is an inmate to get out of that prison. It's no joke. Like, this is legitimate, like one of the biggest problems in America. Like, how many people were incarcerated?
I heard the study is we as a country are responsible for 18% of the world's population, yet we house 25% of our population in prisons.
We have the world's largest population incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
one of the smallest populations as a country, but one of the largest per capita of incarcerated individuals. And that comes down to a lot of things that there was, you look at a lot of laws that came through the years, like there was the crack law that I read about years ago that was established your mandatory minimums of like 10 years per gram of crack. So a guy that gets like 2 little grams of crack cocaine, he's doing 20 years. So you get a couple guys with like a gram on them, like they're all just, yeah.
That's like a lot of time, man, for such a small amount of stuff. And I know it kills people and everything, but come on, man. That's a long time to take somebody's life away.
But I've heard that
I don't condone it. I'm not saying that the crime that they did was...
Go do crack, guys.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that
you guys are going to love it.
I'm just saying, like, we have way too many people incarcerated. You need to, like, rethink some of these time frames, because you don't have enough staff to hold all these people, because the population grows every day.
Yeah. Now, I heard there was...
it costs a lot of money.
Taxpayers are paying big money to keep them in there.
Why are we paying so much money to keep somebody who had a freaking doobie in his glove box in his car?
Yeah, does anybody care anymore about weed?
The federalized level of decriminalization of marijuana is coming down the pipeline eventually.
They gonna let federal employees smoke?
I don't
want somebody responsible for watching out for somebody like that. You know, hey, keep these guys from skipping. Okay, let me just get this down here. Look, my job, I can't smoke.
Officer, I need help. It's like, man, I'm on break, man.
Bet you didn't think you'd be like helping me out with this shit and then getting all these free beers, a free shower, free clothes, and fucking hanging out with us, man.
You told him this doesn't pay, right?
I paid him. Well, not this. Yeah, this doesn't fucking pay shit.
No, I just like the airtime. But
So, with all the things here that we're talking about, let's, prisons are, we're talking a lot about some depressing stuff here. We're trying to keep the show here a little bit positive. So let's talk about something positive. The U.S. pulled out of Afghanistan. Positive?
Yay!
We're gone. We got out. We've been saying we were going to get out.
negative. The way we did it was wrong.
Hang on, we're not there yet. We're just talking about,
right.
Were we going to get out? Yes. We said we were going to? Yes. Did we? Yeah.
No, because we left people behind, so no, we're not out of there.
Yeah, there's a lot of different numbers coming out there. I've heard of a lot of different non-government, non-military, like privately owned organizations going over there, trying to lay eyes on. And some guys, I guess was that I read Glenn Beck, that used to work for Fox News, that owns his own TV or news thing, the Blaze TV or whatever. I guess he went over there. Anybody familiar with Glenn Beck? Glenn Beck was like, years ago, from everything I read and learned about him, like he was a fucking right-wing, like crazy person. Like he was like, the left is they're coming for your guns, like all this other shit.
He was an entertainer.
He was.
If you asked him publicly, like if you saw him out in public, he was an entertainer. That was essentially a persona. Kind of like Tucker Carlson is. Because I don't think anybody could actually think most of that stuff. Or what's the podcast?
What, Joe Rogan?
No, him too, but not Joe Rogan. The crazy
Alex Jones.
Lizard
the fluoride's
people.
making the fucking frogs gay. Like, okay, Alex, you calm down over there, Alex. The fluoride, Alex.
Took my neck.
Just get him. Get him to buy the colloidal silver, Alex, and move on. But no, Glenn Beck did surprise me because I looked at things like that the way he was like, man, yeah, he's just kind of like a talking head. And I was like, first of all, dude does have a really cool voice. Like he's got a perfect spot on like radio voice, not a cheesy DJ, whatever. But he really surprised me. I remember it was 2012, 2011 or whatever. We had the latest border crisis at the time. And everybody was bashing on it. It was like a lot of the more conservative guys, right-wingers, whatever you want to call them, were all like, you can't get in this country. You don't like America. You can get out. And I listened to him talk on that. And he was saying a lot of, well, okay, you don't want them here. You want them to get them here the right way. But they're here now. They're at the border. They're stuck. And they're starving. And he went down there. I've seen the footage of it. He flew down there in his private jet or his bus or whatever and shelled out over $100,000 in aid on the spot. Like was given water, blankets, tents, everything, because the centers were overrun. And I get it. I mean, I get it from looking at it from a political or a, in quote, American standpoint of whatever policy that we're enacting in the current administration, that, yeah, you don't want them in here, that's fine, but they're here. You can't just turn them around, shoot them, or, just shunt them and send them elsewhere. They're here. Where we've talked about, Dave, where I know I've talked about, I don't know if we've ever used the H word on here since you've been on.
Honduras?
Humanists.
Oh, yeah.
Celebrating people that are just human beings. And,
I mean, we should all coexist. I get that.
Yeah. And everybody wants to say that there's the right way to do it. You want to come into this country, you immigrate the correct way. Absolutely. You know what? I do agree with that. But when you come over here, whether you do it the right way or whether you've decided to do the giant caravan and you've made it over here, you're here. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness is the American dream.
Or illegally, as long as you get a Social Security card, start paying taxes like everybody else, because it ain't fair. The one guy pays taxes and another guy doesn't.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, where Glenn Beck surprised me was they were at the border and they were starving, they were hungry, they were thirsty, they didn't have anything, and he said, and he took so much flack for it. Apparently, he lost a boatload of his followers. Because they were like, you're all supposed to be super conservative. You go to America, you do it the right way. He said, absolutely, you do it the right way. But they're here. He said, if you were in a country and had to flee it or wanted to find a better life for your family and you made it all the way there, and then they said, okay, you can hang out, but you got to wait. And they made you wait and didn't give you anything. Wouldn't you love it if somebody said, hey, man, you're hungry. I'm going to give you some food. I'm going to give you this tent for you and your family to sleep in. I'm going to give you some water so you don't die of thirst. I can appreciate that. I absolutely believe, because I like to tell people I'm pretty center of the road with right-leaning values. I do have conservative values.
But you believe in equality.
But I believe in being decent, human decency.
Equality, right?
Equality, yeah. Like, I'm not rocking a coexist bumper sticker or whatever, but...
No, I get it, man. Like, a guy I knew started putting out T-shirts for equality, and he started it at the company in Morgantown. He's putting out all these T-shirts for equality, and everybody's like, I don't know if I can get on board with that or whatever, but I'm going to tell you, man, like, I don't care what color you are, what your background is, whatever. If you're a good person to me, I'm going to be a good person to you, and that's just equality, man. Like, I'm going to treat you as a
that's
human
some golden
being.
rule right there.
Yeah.
Do unto others, man. Do unto others.
You treat me fair, I'm going to treat you fair, man.
That's the thing. Okay, right there, Craig, that is the bread and butter of this show. Especially, that's why I love having Dave here with me for season 5 in the foreseeable future. Is me and Dave, politically, you lined us up politically, like in terms of our views as to what we see on the political stage, we should be like mortal enemies.
Right.
Like, we should
way
be
off the ranch.
We should have like shields and swords and like be like having
Chain
like
mail.
swords at sunset or pistols at dawn. Like, we should hate each other.
Do you think I didn't bring a gun?
Oh, me too. I'm closer to mine, though.
Cletus, I'm strapped.
I don't go anywhere without it.
But like
That
that's
doesn't
the
matter.
beauty of this show.
I'm a big target, and I don't run fast, so...
Serpentine, baby. Serpentine. Kind of hard to hit a moving target. But like, that's the thing that I
So
love
you
about
got battle
this.
buddies so they can cover you while you move.
Well, see, that's the thing too. Me and Dave might have polarizing political opinions, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to fulfilling basic human need and doing the decent thing,
Right.
I believe that me and him fall along that same...
Yeah.
Like
we
line.
should all be able to come together in America and this whole world.
I think we just disagree on the manner in which to come about the same
change that we want to see in the
conclusion.
world, the way in which it's
To make
carried
that
out.
happen. Yeah.
Like, we both disagree in how things are carried out, but we always preach about back in the day, long, long ago, when in America, far, far away, when we could all agree to disagree and just say, you know what, Craig, I don't agree with your tactics and your political strategery. But you know what? We're going to sit here and have a beer over it and be just fine.
Right. And we're going to build together and grow together and trade
That is the
and survive.
That is the dead horse that I've been beating into this show, I think, every season. Whose vehicle got angry right there?
Oh, that was my truck. He was yelling at me.
Easy, girl. Easy.
But it was, and I hate to use the cliche as, you know, why can't we all just get along? Like, we used to be able to say, hey, but it's just long gone. And I know, in the things that you do, like in the places that you've worked, I don't know whether about it be in the prison or in the military or your ventures nowadays, is that we come across all this polarization nowadays, and it makes me sick. I know a lot of people that Facebook to me, and that's like, we're pretty much like the boomers right now, because apparently Facebook is for the old folks, and I'm still on it. But Facebook to me is that podium that gives everyone a voice, and there's so many people that use that podium to tout their voice to carry a message of whatever it is their political climate wants to say or do or whatever, and that's fine. That's their freedom of speech. But there's too many people that do that, and I see too many people that like give up or get mad, or I've seen friendships lost over shit on the facey space. So I think I told you, Dave, it was probably 2, maybe 3 years ago, that where all I saw was all this negativity. All I saw was just people ranting, raving, bitching, complaining, just wanting to just go crazy over something they disagreed with. Doesn't matter whether it was political or not. That I swore to myself, and I told my old lady that. I said, you know what? My social media, the only thing it's going to be used to promote is positivity, because there's not enough of that in the world.
You're right.
There's not enough. It's easy to get mad and stirred up and
Where's
bitch
the
and
love?
complain.
Where's the love?
Spread the love. It's contagious. A smile is contagious. Laughter is contagious. Positive attitudes are contagious, but also so is hate and vitriol and greed and fucking frenzy. But if we could make one step in that way to go away from that and say, you know what, it's not worth it.
Right.
It's not worth it to get that mad over something that we as a people really have no
I'm
control
gonna be honest
over.
with you. I lost friends over this, man. The
What,
very
over the-
thing you're talking about, and it was on my bad, because I don't know. I felt like somebody was coming at me some kind of way, like they were trying to make me feel stupid because I believed a certain way. But, you know, I feel like I feel, and you know, I wasn't judging them for how they feel, but they wanted to cast judgment on me for how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And want to talk down to me and like challenge me physically, you know, over something that I don't even think needs to go that route. Like, well, why you want to get violent? Because I have a different political view than you, and second of all, you're going to get smacked around. Like, I'm going to beat your ass. You know what I mean? Like,
but I'm curious, when did that happen? When did that happen? That
during the whole like Trump, like the election for Trump, like everybody was like, you know, this, that, or the other with Biden and Trump, and how the election came about and everything. And I mean, I may sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think the election was rigged.
All right.
You know what I mean?
And that's the beauty, though. That's your opinion.
That's my opinion. You know what I mean? They didn't blow up all them computers in that warehouse building for nothing. I mean, that truck didn't magically just appear there. But anyway, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I lost friends over this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sad because, like, I served with some of them. You know what I mean? And he was like, "Oh, don't come at my boy like that, man. You guys." I was like, "Who are you talking to, Eminem? Like, you're scrawny as hell." You know what I mean?
See,
like,
that's the thing, though. Is like I always try to. We never can seem to be able to pin a date on it. We've all gone through stuff
it just
like
happened
that. Like,
out of nowhere.
Didn't you just kind of take a sabbatical from Facebook there, Dave?
Oh, I did yesterday. I was off for almost a year.
Yeah.
And my my uncle passed away in the middle of July.
Again, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, man. Sorry for your loss.
Thank you. But I was kind of in charge of dealing with what was left of whatever, I guess, his estate.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned Facebook back on mostly so that relatives or like people that knew him might be able to reach out to me. And after a little over a month, I was just like, I cannot do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Right now, I can't even sleep over the whole Afghanistan thing going on. People got mixed reviews about that. Like, some people are like, "Oh, yay, we're out of Afghanistan." I'm like, no.
We are. Now, that was a big thing that was...
I've got a good
was
friend over
tossed
there
up
right
over
now
there.
helping people get out.
Scott is in Kuwait right now, so I don't know how much that's going to affect him.
We got out of there the wrong way, man. We should have got everybody out.
So, okay, so real quick then, this is going to stir something up.
My bad.
No. That's the question, because I watched the press conference on it, and currently in the current state we're in, this is just going off what was said. Jen Psaki, or Psaki, I don't know if the P is silent or not. The White House press girl lady. What's the name of that?
I don't know. I don't watch fake news. I'm
I know what you're. Jen
Psaki. Psaki or Psaki?
I think it's just Psaki.
Well, they were asking her, news people, whatever, we're asking, so what are we doing with Afghanistan? What's happening here? And she said, we're taking it as it comes. I'm like, okay. She said, now is not the time for politics. And I said, absolutely, 100% agree. Now is not the time for politics. Get our people out of there, do it right, do it fast, get it done.
Yeah.
And then the current president, Biden, does a briefing on it. He addresses the press. And the first thing he says, I watched it happen live. The first thing he said, well, this is what Trump was doing. This was his fault. This is how he wanted to do it. And I'm going, okay, hang on. Before we start snapping, I get that. And I understand that he had some agreement in place to withdraw troops from Afghanistan from the prior administration. But as the president, the current sitting president, do you or do you not have the power to change that, whether it be an executive order or action?
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure that you do.
Absolutely.
I'm not a constitutionalist or anything like that. I'm just trying to go off of what I see, what I hear, and how to digest it.
And Biden's a coward for using Trump as an scapegoat.
Well, paint it how you will. I mean, I don't believe that was the right play. I mean, if you truly want to make sure it's done the right way, you're if you see it, if it's that fucked up, and if you can go, that's the dude, the dude, the orange man. You know, the orange man did that. Okay, fine. You want to blame him, that's fine. But as a presidential figurehead, as the president of apparently the most free country, greatest country in the world, do you or do you not have the power to change that? If you see it's that messed up, why not change it? That's my question. And because I'm not trying to shit on either one of them, because at this show I refuse to take
Positivity.
sides.
I get it.
It's not even the positivity. It's when we talk politics, we have to admit that both sides suck.
Everybody makes mistakes. I'm not saying that. But Biden, he's a train wreck, dude.
Okay.
He's horrible.
I'm just trying to figure out the logistics of an evacuation of an occupied country.
What we need to do is send everybody that we have
Dave,
right
you
now
got something. I know
over
you
there
got something. Help me out
to
here.
get somebody out of there. To get them all out of there. To get all of our equipment, all our people out of there.
Well, the equipment's gone. I know they have.
They probably
I've seen the footage of the Taliban dude trying to fly a Black Hawk, and they were crashing the drones left and right. We left them all the shit. We gifted them their own Air Force. So that's done now.
They don't
we
know
can get it back though if we
They
really
don't know how
wanted
to fly it.
to.
They don't know how to fix it. They don't have the infrastructure to take care of that
No,
stuff.
they don't.
That
but-
stuff's as good as just dead in the water.
Well, why didn't we just destroy it then? Instead of giving them something to use on the people over
I don't
there.
know. Like I'm trying. That's why I'm putting this out there, because I'm trying to bounce it off you guys.
But then we left all these people over there, man. Like no man gets left behind. That's how I feel about
And I
it.
agree with that. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. But the little voice in the back of my head sometimes has that itch that I need to scratch. It's like,
Yeah.
you ever seen back in, I want to say, early 2000s, late 90s, there was a movie called Wag the Dog, where the president's approval ratings were dropping, this and that, and they had
The
to like...
Morgan Freeman movie, I think.
Now, this one had Dustin Hoffman in it and John Travolta. Where Dustin Hoffman was like a movie producer, and he ended up using his movie abilities in his studios and everything to fake a war in a country. That they were saying, like, this country was like, this isn't happening, but they made it look like it was. I'm not saying that that's happening now. But that little voice in the back of my head is going, all these news interviews with a random woman that she's crying. And it's been played so much on the news of a phone call with a woman crying, saying that I see the Taliban coming by, I'm hiding in a building, I don't know what's going on, they're killing people, and they have her husband on a phone, and they interviewed him, but they like, we're not going to release his name. And I get it, and they were saying it's for his safety. And at the front half, the forward-thinking part of my brain is going, yeah, absolutely. You don't want to expose that. You don't want something getting backtracked or backtraced or whatever and putting them at risk. I get that. But then the other half of my brain is going, why don't they release this name? Is it made up? And I hate to think that way, but that's the way that my brain works.
Yeah,
is
they
to
only
look.
tell people what they want them to know.
Well, I try to analyze both facets of it. Is true or false? Let's try to imagine both sides of it. As we're coming close to the end of the show, Craig, this is a little thing that I told you about here for the show. Was we like to do what we call the farewell moment.
Okay.
And the farewell moment is all for you. Do you have any shout-outs, plug-ins, plugs? Do you have a story you want to tell, a joke you want to tell me, whatever? The moment is
Yes.
yours. You take as long as you like, and now I'll shut up.
All right. First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to my mom, God, my wife, my kids, all my brothers and sisters in arms that ever served the country. I'd like to give a shout out to all my friends and family, all my past coworkers, previous coworkers, and current coworkers. I'd like to give a shout out to the Silver Fox Bar coming soon.
Where's that going to be at?
Right up here in Brewston. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful place.
Is that the one on 26?
Yes, it's gonna have.
Used to be the Woodsman's Lodge or Crazy
Right.
Charlie's or something.
You should see this place inside. I've
I
never.
saw the wolf. I'm sorry.
I've been all over the country, and I've never seen a place this nice, and I've never seen like all the ideas this guy has. You just have to go check it out.
Can you give me some teasers? Can you give us some teasers on
All
what it's
right.
going to look like?
How many bars can you go into and they have legitimate like poker tables and activities for you to do while you're in there with your friends?
Now you're throwing me back to Montana, because Montana was the only state that I'd been in that you walk into a bar that was like a bowling alley or whatever.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it was much, but you walk in there, it was like full on Texas Hold'em.
And they also
Like-
make food in there, and it's really good. They have like a sandwich shop, so like during the day you can go there and get food or whatever you need. And they make food all day long. It's
And
really
what's this
good.
place called again?
The Silver Fox.
The Silver Fox.
Yeah.
I like it.
Just
And
makes me think of Scott.
the
our
owner-
little Silver Fox.
The owner's really cool, Pike. I'm telling you, man. Like you'll never meet a nicer, down to earth person. He's a real good dude.
Well, if he's got a website or anything, definitely let me know. We can plug it in here
Okay.
in the description below.
But yeah, first of all, God, my family, and everybody, thank you. And if anybody ever needs help out there, I'm Catfish Craig, and I do handyman services. $40 an hour. It's not too bad.
I'm looking forward to that Silver Fox bar opening up.
I know exactly what he's talking about too.
I haven't played poker in a really long time, but I've been
for a big table. I imagine it's like a 5 or 6 seater, so it's probably like definitely most likely Texas Hold'em.
I will say this: the owner will have the right to decide who comes in. It's like a private place, but the public is welcome. But if for whatever reason he don't want to let you in, he doesn't have to let you in.
Well, you let him know River Sullivan and Dave are going to help put him on the map.
Right.
Because if he's got any kind of social media, I'm going to plug it in the description below.
It's beautiful, man.
I mean, in the other 29 other countries that we're listening to, I don't know how many of them are coming over, but
it's one of the coolest places around.
If you're ever in the West Virginia, Preston County area.
And I'm really good helping out with like keg turnover.
Yeah.
If you need a keg emptied out.
Nice. He might need that. He might need that. You know what I mean?
Too heavy. We won't have to lighten the load.
It might get you a drink. You know what I mean?
Bring in the stunt drunk.
I'm really good at drinking all the beer.
Hey, can you roll them with lay on them and roll them in? Like a slip and slide?
I can try.
For the paying of bills.
Don't tell my health insurance cover I'm doing anything like that.
Because I'm not carrying.
You broke your legs doing what?
Yeah, I'm rolling down the road. I can only do like small stuff.
I was rolling down the roads on some beer kegs.
Well, guys, that looks like all the time we have for you. Don't forget to check us out anywhere that it is you can get a podcast. And also, don't forget that we are an official Duke Cannon affiliate. So please feel free to click on the link here below and check out DukeCannon.com. Get yourself a little bit of something there, a little bit of something to clean you off, make you smell good. Because fall is right here. Don't you get out of here with that Sasquatch bullshit, sir.
It fell apart in my brag, man. I'm a little disappointed.
What soap did you use?
That pine tar or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I was a little disappointed, man. That stuff should have lasted a
little
longer.
You want to get you that good Duke Cannon stuff, my man, because just recently released, because fall is a-coming.
Man, we need to have a whole nother show about soap then.
I
need some good soap.
I got that good pumpkin spice latte soap.
I'm taking some home then.
By Duke Cannon. It's amazing. But anyway, but until next time, guys, we hope to find you happier, healthier, and just a little bit less bitter in life. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. And until we see you here next time on the show, peace out.